Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and President Donald Trump has just scored another victory. So complete that even CNN had to admit it. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. And if you're not following us on YouTube, please make sure you check that address in the lower right-hand corner. It's youtube.com/@explainamerica. And when you get there, please hit subscribe absolutely free. It really helps us out. CNN data analyst Harry Enten was on last night, and he said that 69% of Americans, 69%, agree with President Donald Trump about one particular thing. And what could be so massive, coalescing, if you will, that people, 69%, they said across party lines, Democrat, Republican, didn't matter, that they agree with President Donald Trump on this one issue. I believe the issue that cost the Democrats the 2024 presidential election. These people agree with Trump about transgender athletes not being allowed in women's sports. This to me seems like such a no-brainer that anybody who's against the idea of keeping women's sports just for women, something liberals, by the way, fought for, to have women's sports and women's spaces, if you're against that, you're on the wrong side of history. I mean, when almost 70% of the country disagrees with your position, maybe it's time to rethink your position. Maybe it's time you come back to the land of reality and leave the land of make-believe. Maybe it's time you get out of bizarro world and come over and join us here in this world. Reality doesn't cease to exist because you don't like it. Reality doesn't cease to exist because you wish to change it. Reality is reality. And the Democrats, hey, listen, you had guys like Bill Maher screaming this from the rooftops, and the party wouldn't listen to him. He said this is going to be a problem, and they wouldn't listen to him. And they lost the 2024 election, I think, for a number of reasons. But I think this one was way up high on the list. I want you to listen to what Mr. Harry Enten had to say here, and let me know what you think in the comments.
Joining me now, CNN senior political data reporter Harry Enten. Harry, tell me, what are you seeing in these numbers?
Yeah, I think these numbers are really illuminating on this topic because I just think there's such a clear trend among the American public. So transgender female athletes in women's sports, only 18% of the country says that they should be, in fact, allowed to participate in women's sports. Compare this to the opposition. I mean, my goodness gracious, 79%. You rarely get 79% of the country to agree on anything, but they do, in fact, agree on the idea of opposing transgender female athletes in women's sports. But it's not just the here and now, Laura. It's not just the here and now. What we're actually seeing is a trend on this particular issue, and it's going in the direction of opposition. So take a look here. Okay, transgendered female athletes, and amongst those Americans who oppose them in women's sports. Back in 2021, it was 62%. A majority, but, you know, not anywhere close to a ginormous majority, right? A clear majority, but not a ginormous majority. But then again, you look here in 2025, you see it at 79%. So it's not just that the majority of Americans are opposed to transgender female athletes in women's sports. It's that the opposition has become considerably larger in just the last 4 years.
How does this break down across party lines?
Yeah, so, you know, when you get 79% of Americans to agree on anything, in this case, opposition to transgender female athletes in women's sports, you got to believe that it's the majority across all parties, and that's, in fact, what we see. So transgender female athletes, again, opposing them in women's sports. You get 67% of Democrats, so two-thirds there. You get 64% of independents, so you get about two-thirds there. And then look at this, near uniformity among Republicans, 94% of Republicans in opposition. You rarely get 67% of Democrats and 94% of Republicans to agree on anything, but they do on this particular issue. But it's not just that Republicans are in an opposition. It's the strength of that opposition. Okay, Republicans who strongly want to ban transgender female athletes from women's sports, get this, it's 84% who strongly want to ban them. And that is actually larger than the amount of Republicans who strongly want to deport all immigrants in America who are here illegally. So that just gives you an understanding of how strong the opposition is among Republicans. It is really strong when it comes to banning transgender female athletes from women's sports, Laura.
It's very illuminating. Harry Enten, thank you so much.
Thank you.